Hello, friends. Have you ever gazed up into the night sky and wondered at the possibility of life on other planets? What marvelous beings might exist out there, hands extended in friendship, awaiting the moment when we humans take our first tentative steps into space? What tales will be told of that glorious day when we are first contacted by our brothers from beyond the stars?
Man, I miss Pandemic. Not the one that's still occurring as we speak. I mean the game studio Pandemic. They knew that the appeal of an open world game was the ability to cause a lot of havoc in a short period of time and revel in that chaos. I plan on covering the Saboteur one of these days, but I'm gonna have to hold off on that because one of their other great titles, Destroy All Humans, is coming back. The first Destroy All Humans is getting remade by Black Forest Games, and they released a demo that's available on Steam and GOG. The demo presents the first mission and the starting area, Turnip Seed Farm. After completing the tutorial mission, you're free to mess around in the level, and even play one of the various side activities in the game. I think this is a great way to present this type of game. Destroy All Humans is one of those post-Grand Theft Auto open world games that empowered players to create mass destruction in a virtual sandbox, and provided many tools to engage with that sandbox. So it creates a strong first impression for new and returning players to get a vertical slice of the game. I won't go in depth with the plot, as I intend to fully cover this game like I did with past Remake comparison videos. This is more just a first impression video to set the table for the deeper dive that will occur a couple months down the road. There are some technical hitches, but it's a demo, and I expect Black Forest to smooth those issues out on release. I played through the original Destroy All Humans, and dipped into a little bit of the second game to get a frame of reference for how the remake would stand in comparison, and there are some very welcome changes. The game's controls feel a lot tighter in the remake. Controlling Crypto in the original felt loosey-goosey, especially when you use his jetpack to move around. The aiming has some forgiving soft targeting, but it's not overly aggressive where I felt like I had to fight the reticle to pick another target. Crypto's starting weapon, the Zap-O-Matic, feels a lot stronger at the start in the remake than it did in the original. It requires some cooldown before you can use it again, but doesn't consume any ammo. In the original, it took some work to rush down a standard NPC with the Zap-O-Matic, but it doesn't seem to take as much time in the remake, and its recharge rate even feels a little faster. That's a recurring feature I noticed when comparing versions, and it's so welcome. When you entered your saucer in the original, you had to deal with a long animation of Crypto beaming up into the spacecraft and folding its landing legs, every time. In the remake, Crypto just zips into the vehicle and is up and running in a fraction of the original's time. Black Forest did a great job remapping Crypto's controls to feel less clunky in the remake. Originally, Crypto had mind powers that were accessible when you held down the L1 button and simultaneously pressed the face button. Psychokinesis was L1 plus triangle, Hypnosis was L1 plus square, Brain Scan was L1 plus X or cross, and Brain Extract was L1 plus circle. The remake did away with the button combinations and just remapped the mind powers as single button inputs. Scanning is now triangle, Extract is square, and PK is R1. Hypno and Holobob haven't been shown yet, as the game doesn't introduce them until the second mission, so they haven't been featured, but a quick look at the game's controls show that Crypto's illusion powers have been grouped together onto the D-pad. The new control scheme makes it a lot easier to perform actions without finagling with the controls. You ever play an old Assassin's Creed game and fumbled over your moves because holding down right trigger changed what the face buttons did? You shouldn't ever face that problem in Destroy All Humans Remake. Not content with optimizing Destroy All Humans controls, Black Forest overhauled Psychokinesis to be incredibly handy during combat. When you used PK in the original, it was very unwieldy. You could press square or circle to pull the target closer or push it further from Crypto, and pressing triangle allowed you to throw the target. PKing a target makes it hard to control Crypto because the camera grinds to a screeching halt whenever you're carrying something. The remake's PK mechanics seem to resemble how Saints Row 4 implemented Levitate. Pressing R1 picks up a target. If you press R1 again, you'll drop the target. However, if you're holding down R1, the aura around the target will turn from blue to red, and if you release R1, you'll throw the target instead of dropping it down. This turns PK from cumbersome to handy, as you can alternate between using an equipped weapon and PK to attack enemies. It wasn't very clearly explained to me when I used it, but I think if you open up the tooltips for each ability, you'll get the details on PK's nuances. The brain extract ability is a lot speedier in the remake than in the original. This has me thinking that the game might phase out the anal probe, as its existence along with the speedier brain extract ability would be redundant. The saucer has been tweaked as well, and its mobility is now smooth as butter. It was fairly maneuverable in the original, but it already feels like a dream at the outset in the remake. The remake seems to have taken ideas from Destroy All Humans 2 and incorporated them into the first game's design. Instead of hunting down health pickups for the saucer, it can now drain power from nearby vehicles like in Destroy All Humans 2, and can even extract brains to repair its shields. Looking at the controls again, it seems like Crypto will have the ability to transmog items into ammo like in Destroy All Humans 2. That's a good idea, as it avoids those moments I had in the original, where I ran out of juice and had to drop everything to hunt for ammo or repairs. The upgrade system also looks like it took notes from the second game's multi-tiered leveling system, instead of the flat leveling that the original had. So far, I've focused on the game's mechanics, but the game's graphics have also gotten a much needed improvement. The characters have a new art style that looks more stylized than the generic models of the original, and the colors and lighting add vibrancy that complement the new art style.
My brain!
I have two reservations about what I've seen from the demo. First, one of the big changes that Black Forest announced was the inclusion of a dash ability that would allow Crypto to skate along the surface with his jetpack. That's not present in the demo. I get that this game may be a build that didn't have that feature implemented, as this wouldn't be the mission to introduce that ability, but it still sucks to know that it exists, but there's no way at the moment to experience it. Also, although the game did get a facelift, I think it's still using some of the same sound files from the original. I'm sure Black Forest did its best to clean up these old tracks, but some of the audio feels crispy, as if it was run through a program to clean up noise, but consequently made the game sound harsh.
They eat with their mouths. Ugh, I think I'm going to be violently ill. They eat with their mouths. Ugh, I think I'm going to be violently ill.
I think back to how Outcast Second Contact sounded more or less like Outcast 1.1.
This mission will be a snap, Commander. It's just a simple repair operation. What could go wrong? Well, let's count. I lost my crew, can't find the probe, my equipment is being used by the natives as rosary beads, and I have one backpack with my HK P-12 and 30 rounds of ammo. I believe that places this mission somewhere just south of Fubar.
Still, I'm very excited for the Destroy All Humans remake. It's a good game that deserved a second chance, and I hope its sales push THQ to continue the project and remake Destroy All Humans 2, because that game definitely could use the same TLC that Black Forest gave to the original with its game padding issues. Destroy All Humans remake will go gold on July 28 and is available on Steam, GOG, and Stadia.
Little green spaceman!
I am not green.
Give it a shot.